Disclaimer: viewer discretion is advised. I don't recommend watching this video if you're sensitive to mentions of vomit, poop, bodily fluids, dead things, drugs, or adult-oriented clothing and products. This may not be the video for you. Although I try to avoid going into super gross detail, if you're uncomfortable with these subjects, it's perfectly okay to watch something else. Trust me, I don't like working around that stuff myself. Hello everyone, it's Mono. Welcome back to another art story time where I'm simultaneously debuting my PNG tuber avatar of my OC Vendetta. Please excuse her constantly frowning, her smile toggle is currently broken. But ironically, it's in character for this girl to frown a lot, so this is just character accurate. This is definitely the weirdest video I could have picked for the debut. I only realized that after the script was written, but I don't have any other video ideas, so this is what we're rolling with for now. Anyway, I'm sure all of you know about the age-old trope of starving artists. Well, I'm not always starving, but like many other artists around my age who can't afford art school and don't really know what they do for college otherwise, I have to work to keep food on the table. Shocker, I know. In this economy, Mono has to work? Crazy. So I've been working since I was 16, and I've worked a decent variety of jobs. Mainly big box retail stores, but I've also worked in craft stores, and like most teens, I've also worked fast food as well. Funnily enough, it was Sonic. I thought I'd get to roller skate because that's one of my hobbies. I mean, my OC roller skates for a reason. But they said the insurance was too expensive. So I guess that's reality for ya. Sega, I wish you'd do a collab. But just like every other teen, I quickly realized those jobs sucked. Big time. It's too little pay for way too much work and stress. Plus, the customers verbally abusing you along with beatdowns to your morale from management get old really quick. So, in my most recent search for a new gig, I decided to expand my horizons, bringing me into a new field, warehouse work. Now, most warehouse jobs I applied to denied me right away. Unfortunately, I am not forklift certified, although I'd be down for it. Plus, my resume lacks any warehouse experience. I also don't think they'd be impressed if I said I'm a frickin' anthro-animal artist either. But when I thought all hope was lost, I got lucky. One place sent me a job offer pretty much immediately after applying, to my surprise. And it was a good offer. With dollar signs and desperation in my eyes, I accepted. And honestly, a month in, I'm proud to say I have no regrets. Obviously, I'd rather be able to sit on my butt all day and draw, and make videos and all that, but most people don't get to do that. Hey, wink wink. Maybe one day if you support your girl by liking and subscribing, you need something reliable. Warehouse work is A-okay. I clock in, I do my job, and I'm not expected to do any other job I'm not thoroughly trained on. Training for other roles is on a volunteer basis, and if you don't want to do it, fine. There's typically plenty of work to go around in your home department. Other benefits of the job include not having to speak to anyone I don't want to, having my own fan at my desk, and yes, I can turn it off and on, like, as much as I want. They're not gonna complain at me for using electricity. On-site medical professionals who are surprisingly better than most doctors I've been to. I guess that says a lot about the US healthcare system. Having an entire canteen, like an open-air market, to choose from for lunch and snacks. Free drinks if you like Powerade. Events such as career fairs and cultural celebrations. And the occasional morale booster event where we're handed free snacks or even ice cream. As long as you do your job decently well, management will not bother you. Nobody will. I like that. Now, I'm not going to glaze it too much, because like every other job, there are some issues. They're mostly human ones though, and I've learned this place will hire anyone and anything with a pulse, so I'm not surprised. But compared to the constant labor and health code violations in fast food, and the OSHA violations and power tripping managers of retail, being a cog in a warehouse is heaven. I don't want to get too carried away though. Today, we're here to talk about the horrors I see at my job, each and every day. The price my soul pays for all of those job benefits, in the form of returned merchandise. Ooh, scary. Oh, and I won't say the name of where I work. Sorry if this actually sounds like a job you'd like, but digital footprints exist.
However, if anyone from my work somehow finds this avatar where I use a Sonic the Hedgehog fan avatar and yap about my work experiences, here's all you need to know. No, I won't be sharing confidential information about individuals or the company. I'm not insulting the company in any way. I actually like working here and would rather keep my job. Thanks.
Anywho, like I mentioned before, my warehouse is all about grading returned merchandise. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, basically think about the last time you ordered something online and then decided to return it. Maybe you misjudged the size, maybe it wasn't very good quality, maybe it broke or tore right away, or heck, maybe you got scammed by some scumbag dropshipper. But regardless, the reason doesn't matter. After you dropped off your return at the post office, it was shipped to a warehouse like mine. People like me will then open the package and enter information about the item's condition into our computer. Then we repackage your item and send it on its way, off to whatever destination the computer decides. For most items in great or even perfect condition, that typically means going back to a warehouse that ships items out so it can be resold to the next customer. For more beat up items or certain products like bedding and undergarments, it may go to a liquidator, the trash, recycling, or a refurbisher. That's mostly for tech products in my experience, but I've seen other stuff go too. Oh, and hazmat, if we're sent something absolutely disgusting. Most of the items I'll be talking about today went to the pits of hazmat, never to be seen again. I truly pity the people who have to handle all those hazmat items because yes, some unfortunate souls have to handle those after we do. Oh, and by the way, in case you're one of those people who likes to return empty boxes or only return half of an item or likes to switch the item with some random crap thinking no human will ever know. Yeah, so this is where the scammers get busted. Now, I don't really know what happens to the scammers, as that's not my job. All I do is press a button whenever I see blatant return fraud because nobody hides it. I've heard they get their account flagged and legal action gets taken if it happens with really high value stuff or if it's often enough, but I can't confirm anything. To those of you watching, guys, I really don't recommend trying to scam companies, especially the ones you're giving your address to. You don't exactly make yourselves hard to track down. But let's start with the first disgusting item I've ever received. This was on day 2 of starting my job at the company. I was still in training when I unboxed the puke blanket. A blanket that I can almost guarantee was kept in the bottom of a dog's crate for several months for it to get puked on, probably pooped on, and absolutely covered in fur. Like, the fur was embedded into the fibers of the blanket. And for my viewers who live with large breed dogs, especially pit bulls, you know that Frito smell some of them have? Yeah, so that's from bacteria. The entire thing smelled so strongly of it. The only reason I didn't feel ill was because I grew up in a house with that smell everywhere. You may be thinking, wow, how can someone return a blanket in that condition and get their money back? Well, viewer, that's the funny thing. They weren't supposed to send us a blanket in the first place. This also happened to be the first time I encountered return fraud. For whatever reason, the customer decided to try to pass off this crappy blanket as the shock collar they were supposed to send back to us. Needless to say, I'm pretty sure they didn't get their money back. And yes, the blanket went straight into hazmat and I quickly got new gloves. But why a shock collar? Dude, you could have tried to swindle an iPad or something and you picked the shock collar? Really? Are you that desperate to... No, I shouldn't say that, but I don't support shock collars at all. I think there's better ways. Moving on. The piss jugs. Yes, plural. Piss jugs. With an S. There are multiple piss jugs. No, I'm not talking about the bottles they say warehouse workers and delivery drivers pee into. I'm talking about portable urinals, specifically the ones that are sold as medical supplies. Thankfully, most of the piss jugs I've received were new, and not piston. Once, I even received a 3-pack where the customer made sure to tell me in the customer comments section that the patient they were meant for died, and that's why they weren't used. Oh, did I mention I can see what people say in the comments? When you decide to type out a reason for why you return the item, I'm the one who sees it. And some of you are unhinged. Some of you need therapy. I do not need to hear about your dead relatives or pets. Just say you don't need the item, dude. Don't you worry. If I don't do it in this video, then I'll do another video just about the crazy customer comments I get. It's wild. But moving on. Unfortunately, one time there was a piss jug that did have piss in it. You know, when you sign up for these kinds of jobs, they don't exactly tell you what you can expect to see. Do I blame them? No, not really. If they told people at orientation they could be coming across some of the things I've seen, I think the turnover rate would be much higher. I remember hearing one of my trainers say, so yeah, sometimes you'll get hazmat that's like open makeup products, leaking liquids and chemicals and stuff. Did my trainer mention piss-filled piss jugs, puke blankets, or adult toys? Of course not. Yep, adult toys. You know, most places don't let you return those. And I don't understand why we do. Maybe we don't, people do it anyway, I'm not really sure. But look, discreet packaging is great, and I have nothing against it. In fact, I think more stuff should be able to be discreetly packaged. But when someone decides to return a product in that same discreet packaging, it can be a bit surprising and confusing for the next person to open it, leading to the tale of the quote-unquote water pump I unpackaged one night. So this package was weird from the second it showed up on my desk. First of all, I was having trouble scanning it into the computer. When we get packages, we need to scan the label and then the item itself. The shipping label scans fine, but when I go to scan the product box's barcode, it just won't work. Okay, I say, going to another menu hoping to find the item on their, order history, as I proceed to open the package. Once it loads, I realize, wait, there's no water pump on this order's item list. Then I see there's a toy, the only item possible for me to select. It was then that I looked down. My gloved hand, now inside of the box that said it was a water pump, is touching something that is definitely not the pump. I can't express how fast I marked that crap as hazmat, tossed it into the hazmat box, literally threw it. You're not supposed to throw things, but I did. And I sent that shit away. At the time, I was so mad, and yes, I had to get another pair of gloves. I would not have continued working without a new pair of gloves. Looking back, it's kind of funny, but the emotions I went through in that moment, I can't express the insanity. The next item's even better though, and a lot less gross. So, working at this company, many of its warehouses are codenamed similarly, only being off by a single digit or letter. It's also located in an area with a lot of other warehouses. It's not uncommon for us to get misshipped items that were supposed to be sent to another warehouse. Although a lot of these misships are pretty bizarre, I've seen packages that were supposed to go to the other side of the country, yet they ended up on my desk. Or the one time I got a package meant to go to TikTok HQ, again in some faraway state. Crazy stuff. Usually, I can quickly identify these packages because the shipping labels won't scan, especially if the package wasn't even meant for our network. But this incident was during my 3rd week, I think, and back then, I didn't know about misships. But typically, if a shipping label won't scan, there's a little slip inside the package that includes a duplicate of the barcode that I need. You can also try to type out the number on the label, but that takes longer than slicing and dicing a box open. So, when this inconspicuous package wouldn't scan, that's the first thing I thought to do. I pull out the items, searching for the paper slip, only to see 2 little jars, and think, wait a minute, we don't usually get food here. I'm pretty sure we don't deal with food at all. I look at the labels, and pause. They're fucking monstrous edibles. 250 grams of THC a piece. Look, I'm not some weed nerd, but it doesn't take a genius to realize I'd probably die if I took one of those. A lot of people wouldn't be able to handle that high of a dose. Heck, maybe this person realized that since they were trying to return them just to their original supplier, not us. The thoughts running through my head once I unpackage them were as follows. Wait, we sell these? Nah, there's no way, right? Wouldn't it be funny if I checked? Oh, okay, but aren't there legalities around this? What happens if these get sent to a state where it's not legalized? Can our company legally ship these out from here? Realizing I had no idea how to handle the situation, I set off a little alarm and one of my managers showed up within a few minutes. I told him, hey, somebody sent us goodies and I don't know what to do with them because they won't scan into the system. So the guy opens the box, takes out the jars, because I had repackaged them, and holds them up to the light as he inspects them. He does this for a while. I'm just standing there awkwardly for a good minute, until eventually I'm just like, I mean, it's weed. And all he says is, yeah, I see. Unsure what else to say, I'm like, so we don't sell those, right? There's gotta be some legal stuff around that. And again, he just says, yeah. More standing there in silence. Eventually he's like, oh yeah, this is a misship, I'll take these. And he leaves with them. And with that, I have no idea what happened to the monster edibles. Maybe he took them home. It'd be funny. Hey, man, if you did, good for you. Hope you enjoyed them. But alas, we must return to the more horrifying items. Once I unboxed this very shiny pair of boxers. Okay, it wasn't even out of the box before I knew this was some freaky stuff. So, overall, they were pretty plain. The boxers were made of black faux leather, but what made them especially notable was the amount of space in the front. Not to be graphic, but there was basically a triangle-shaped area extending outwards in the front, basically extra room. Usually, I'd just process the item like normal and send it on its way, but we had a problem. So, a big thing with clothing is making sure the tag size matches what it is on the computer. In the case of these boxers, the computer said they ordered a large, but the customer sent us an extra large, meaning they must have been sent the wrong size in the first place. Okay, whatever. I just press a button and have someone else deal with it. Except one little thing about these boxers stuck out to me. The customer comment attached. They were complaining that these boxers were too tight. Mind you, these are the most blatantly designed to be tight boxers ever. And the customer was sent a size bigger than what they ordered. But yeah, too tight. The guy who came to deal with them had a laugh about it too. It sure was something. Well, this video is getting a bit long, so I'm going to wrap it up with one final item, or more so a category of items. Frickin' knives. Again, I'm convinced people just don't think an actual person is going to open the packages they send us, because the sheer number of knives I've received loose in the box is absurd. Luckily, I haven't been injured by one yet, but I'm worried it might happen one day. A lot of people will also use these knives before deciding to return them, but they won't wash them. I'm pretty sure there was like rotten herbs on one of them. Honestly, I have a sensitive nose, but holy crap, I nearly vomited because of the stench. To those of you who are new to the workforce, or will be joining it soon, work will show you the absolute degeneracy and filth of arguably the average American. You may think it's the bare minimum to clean stuff you've used before returning it, but apparently a lot of people disagree with you. There are a lot of shameless pigs out there. I used to think I was disgusting if I didn't clean one thing in my house all the way by accident. Yet there are people leaving filth in their tracks every day on purpose with no remorse. All I can say is good luck out there, and please don't be one of those people. Well, that's about time I ended off. If you got this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't ruin your appetite. And if you'd like to see a part 2 of this, I have plenty more stories than this. Just let me know in the comments. And let me know if you like the format. This is a new thing I'm kind of experimenting with, and I hope it turns out okay. We'll see. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.